wise man once said, the will to win, the desire to succeed,
What takes guts is to put yourself on the line.
the urge to reach your full potential.
A leader makes the way.
These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Success Resources is the world's leading events promoter of business, personal development, and wealth creation programs. For over 30 years, we've helped over 10 million people across 30 countries unlock their full potential. From North America to Europe, to Africa, to Asia, to Oceania, we are the key to your personal success. We open the door to the world's best speakers, such as Anthony Robbins, Sir Richard Branson, Robert Kiyosaki, and T. Harv Eker, to name a few. Praised by Donald Trump for being the world's best, we have over 500 events a year and access to the greatest thinkers, achievers, and motivators of our time. We guide you to the success that lies in every one of us.
But you will not discover your greatness in your comfort zone.
You have to have confidence in yourself.
We have never really truly reached our destination. There's always another level to strive for. Your best is yet to come. Success Resources, your learning partners.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday. This is my favorite day of the week because it's the first day and another great opportunity to have an amazing week. Welcome to another Bitcoin journey to 100,000. Hopefully, you guys are doing well and have a wonderful weekend. Right now, Bitcoin has traded sideways between 40, 42 over the weekend. Well, this is not bad, better than dropping to 30,000, right? Now, the war is still on. So what's happening at the war front? In the meantime, what is also happening to Bitcoin? So let's discuss. My name is Richard Tan from Success Resources. We're the world leading education provider every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. We are making video tracking the incredible journey of Bitcoin to 100,000. Yes, 100,000 sure to be there. Okay. So if this is a journey that you like to learn and follow, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs up button, and forward this to your friends too, and click the notification so whenever we have make a video, you are the first to know. Now, I'm very delighted to bring my friend Dr. Clemen Chiang to the program, of which without him, we won't have this program also. So he is an authority in financial investing and a very well-known teacher and coach to many thousands and thousands of students all over the world in the art of wealth creation. Welcome, Dr. Clemen.
Wow, Richard, back on Monday, and I feel very productive today because first thing I did this morning is to fetch my kids to the school. I think I feel very accomplished already. The second thing I did is to walk 10,000 steps. And the third thing is to stick to my 1,500 calories. And here we go, Monday, preparing for the whole week. I think we got a really exciting full out running of events this week, with Russia, Ukraine being the spotlight. And of course, Bitcoin right now started to move as well. Yes, we are ready, Richard.
Okay, for one thing, you look great. Yeah, but please don't go too thin. Okay, we need you to look Chinese way of prosper is to be a little bit flabby. Yeah, so good. Now, Bitcoin has been trading sideways between 40 to 42. We are happy because many so-called analysts analyzed and also predicted that it may even drop to 30 or even 26,000, but it's trading sideways 40 to 42. That's great. That's not bad, right? Now, the war is still on. It's now close to 1 month already. So we are going to discuss our program today in two parts. One is the war, one is Bitcoin. So the first question to you, Dr. Clemen, is what's happening at the war front right now? Can you give us some update on what's happening at the war front right now?
Yes, absolutely, Richard. And this is really top of our mind. Over the weekend, there's further developments right now between the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And let's dive into the key pointers right here. So surprisingly, right now we have a middleman in this discussion or mediation. Ukraine conflict, Putin lays out his demands in Turkish phone call. This is a positive development. First time we're going to have a peacemaker coming into the picture, but we need to know what exactly does President Putin wants to achieve. So right over here, the Russia demands fall into two categories. The first four demands are, according to Mr. Kalin, not too difficult for Ukraine to meet. Now, we need to understand the concerns as well, and here we go. Chief among them is an acceptance by Ukraine that it should be neutral and should not apply to join NATO. Ukraine's President Zelensky has already considered this. In fact, this was the real trigger of the war, that Ukraine wanted to join NATO, and on the other side of the coin, NATO openly kind of give in many nuances that kind of so-called accepted Ukraine to join NATO. But before it was formalized, the first missile was launched on 24 February this year. So I want everyone to have the right context. This was the real trigger of the war. And there are other demands in this category. Of course, they call it the face-saving elements for the Russian side. Now, this is also equally important because there's a division of what we call core values. Here we go. Ukraine will have to undergo a disarmament process to ensure it wasn't a threat to Russia. There would have to be a protection for the Russian language in Ukraine, and there's something called denazification. Now, many of you are going to come across many social media articles, both on the websites as well as popular social media outlets like Twitter, Facebook, even through WhatsApp. You're going to read so many articles that Ukraine kind of started off with the Nazi flag or Nazi symbol embedded in his flag or embedded in his army uniform. Do some checks on that. There's always some trace back to these origins. Whether they deny or admit it right now, but those are already part of history. So this is the backdrop. Whether facts or you call it fake news, I think is for all of us to really kind of triangulate the data point and make sense out of it. Next thing is this. Deeply offensive to Zelensky, who himself is a Jewish, and some of whose relatives died in the Holocaust. But the Turkish side believe it will be easy for Zelensky to accept. Perhaps it will be enough for Ukraine to condemn all forms of neo-Nazism and promise to clamp down on them. So this is a kind of a challenge on their belief. And right here, I want to play a quick video to give you the sound bites. What exactly is happening on the ground? 3, 2, 1.
And away from the front, no neighborhood is safe. Russian Grad rockets fall all around us. Yeah, this is the reckless targeting of human life.
So I'm going to pause for a moment. When it comes to the discussion of war, war is war. War is cruel. And that's the reason why we don't want any war to start off with. It's as simple as that. But once the war is triggered, all these things would happen. So take a look, watch the video, and of course, here we go. And there are many other issues that Russia demanded. Majority is the savings grace part of deal. But I want to share with you one important ideology behind this. Right now, we're on the 25th day of the war, and that is this. This war has kind of put together the strong, very strong sanctions effects imposed by the Americans and their allies. But it has triggered another very strong coordinated response, not just from Russia, but from Russia's allies, being China, India, Saudi Arabia, because they begin to realize that, oh my gosh, the sanctions could be a weapon that potentially could be used upon us one day. And that's the reason why in Saudi Arabia, they are willing to sell their oil to China and receive payment in the Chinese renminbi. Likewise from India. And that's the reason why it has kind of put together enemies, foes, and friends, everyone taking camps on different sides. Because if you are left standing alone, in the case of Russia, the next target could possibly be you next, whether it's China or India. So this kind of so-called adversaries begin to come together and fight off these very, very strong coordinated sanctions. And that's the reason why the Russian oil sale to India complicates Joe Biden's efforts. India is right now buying discounted Russian oil, despite the US ban, which could help Russia boost its beleaguered economy. This is ongoing right now. And you know, Saudi Arabia is also selling to China based on not the oil dollars, but based on Chinese renminbi. So as I kind of trace down these routes, and then we go back to the internal conflict right here, more than 90% of the Ukrainians still believe that their country will win the war. And of course, you have Zelensky warning about World War III. He needs to call this the World War III so that he's not fighting alone. And that's the master storyteller. He's great at this. If you've seen the video he presented to Congress, that was all moving, but he wants to drag everybody into this war with him by calling it a World War III. That's what we want to avoid, an all-out conflict between two sides. And right over here, there's a whole big chunk of aluminum movement on Wall Street, and we were monitoring all the commodities ranging from aluminum, nickel, and we are talking about nickel, lithium, as well as wheat, exporter of food. And of course, they are calling for more advances by the Russian troops entering into the key cities. And right over here, more than 90% of Ukrainians still believe their country will win the war. Despite being displaced more than 3 million of its population, they still believe they will win the war. That's what's going on at the ground level, all right? And of course, if I move around right here, this is the latest, Joe Biden to travel to Poland on last Friday, and this is really next to the borderline between Ukraine and Poland. So all these are key developments, but more importantly, on the humane side of things, we also received the news that Russia has bombed a school with 400 people sheltering inside. So how do we look at all this and try to make sense of it as a normal human being? Number one, this is the fight of two giants. Namely, I would just call it the Russia versus United States, not versus Ukraine. This is the fight where United States and their allies impose sanctions on Russia. And of course, if you go back to the history, Russia over the past 15 years has warned the NATO and the Americans do not move an inch to the east. So go back to the history, you sum it up, who's weaponizing the sanctions, who is taking lead the sanctions, the United States of America. And the other camp, we have Russia. Step two, go to the second level. Now, if nobody comes to Russia's side, Russia will definitely go down. But the fear is if Russia goes down, for such a large country, who will be the next target then? As a result, a consequence of this, point number two, so-called the beleaguered Russia right now is putting together their friends on the same side so that they don't get bullied into one position. And everybody start to be very divisive about this whole separation. And all this will trace down to the roots of oil. How will oil be sold, be paid in what dollars, routed to which countries, and this is going to have a major impact on the entire world's economy, including us, because it's going to continue to raise the inflation rate. Things will become more and more expensive, thereby bring to point number three. On the humane side, we continue to pray for Ukrainians, the children, the widows, the sons, and the men fighting the war, and of course, those who are displaced. We pray really, really hard many Samaritans will come and surround them, provide help, and continue their normal day of living. That's all we ask for. And of course, we pray for peace. So this is the big summary. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, Dr. Clemen, so there's a lot of things happening at the war front, but we want to touch on what's happening to Bitcoin. Are there any changes to the fundamental of Bitcoin, etc.? The first news I want to bring out is Australia. Now, Australia has been pretty big in terms of the world economy as well, a strong supporter of US. And I myself, we were handling crypto in Australia, and they seems to be quite at that point in time quite negative on crypto. But today there is really a big shift in the thinking of the policymaker in Australia. Now, Australia is serious about getting the crypto regulation right, in this crypto age, and they come up with some policy, and what they want to do is even ask the public for their opinion. So question to you, Dr. Clemen, is that do you see this trend, right, moving toward being more friendly to crypto, that more countries are willing to follow?
Yes, absolutely, Richard. And first of all, when we take a look at Australia, we got to take one more step back to look at the history and the fallout between Australia and China. This was very, very recent. China kind of pulling out their investments out of Australia because Australia begins a very tough stance towards the Chinese. And of course, this is political, ideological differences. And as a result, Australia has to find the next blue ocean. How can they survive as a country? And thereby leads me to point number 2. Perhaps the blue ocean for Australia is to look into cryptocurrency. Because the step 1 in any opportunity is to enact the law to protect their citizens as well as to protect their own interests. So crypto laws loom for Australia as government seeks market views. So this is typically the 3-step process, all right? Calling for market feedback by the regulator, making sure they cover majority of the blind spots, addressing the grassroots concerns and different stakeholders, what are their views? Step 1 is always the call for papers, call for responses or feedback on its plan to overhaul the overall licensing regime within Australian laws. Step number 1. Now, once step number 1 is done, then you can see this is the part that gets very interesting. Government can't guarantee your crypto anymore, then it can guarantee a painting or a share in a company, nor should it. But we can make sure Australia exchanges, custodians, and brokers, Australian players in the crypto ecosystem work within a regulatory framework that's better, safer, and more secure. What is the language of this paragraph? It is telling us they are getting ready to kind of formally accept crypto exchanges to start doing business in Australia. Step 1. Step 2, retail investors will start pouring money into crypto exchanges and in a very regulated environment, thereby providing safeguard for safer and what they call more secure trading environment for cryptocurrency. Now, once this is in place, then they are kind of battling with the speedy emergence of digital assets. They need to improve as well. So this is the part universities will kick in to strike a balance between spurring technological entrepreneurship. So courses will begin to launch in Australia universities. Thereby, more than 800,000 Australians have made transactions with digital assets since 2018, according to the Australian Taxation Office. So I'm thinking 3 parts. There's an education bit, formal curriculum will be launched to tackle the digitalization of the economy. The second part is the taxation, the collection of revenues by the government. And the third part is the regulation of the entire regime, overhaul of its licensing, so that they can bring in international players to start doing business within Australia. Now, this is huge, huge. I really like these numbers here because it kind of tells us what they are focusing on. As part of the reforms, Australia's government is seeking feedback on policies to address banks refusing to do business with emerging fintech firms. All right, so here we go. It also reviewed how they are appropriately taxed by the end of 2022, which is this, what we call the current tax year, expecting the digital asset economy to grow to 64 billion from 2.1 billion by the decade's end. That is the number that they are aiming at. So come down to the crunch, every government agency is also looking at tax dollars. How much money can they make to kind of sustain the economy? And clearly and very critically, cryptocurrency is paving the way forward, not just for Australia. Many other underdeveloping, developing, and developed countries are also looking into this space. So yes, Richard, this is a positive sign.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, Dr. Clemen, there's this article that a top executive from this Fidelity Digital Asset Europe, which is a large, mega giant financial institution, he says that the crypto industry today is mirroring the commodity boom of the 1990s. You know, during the 1990s, all the commodity price kind of rocket up, like copper, aluminum, steel, gold, silver, etc. Now, question to you is this: do you see the same similarity, as what the Fidelity executive claimed? If you see this similarity, how do you correspond this to the Bitcoin trend of today?
Wow, great question, Richard. In fact, this article here kind of excite the committee because why? Before even we talk about the commodities boom, we have already been preaching about the comparison between physical gold, like the gold chain I'm wearing, versus the digital gold 2.0, which is the Bitcoin. So there's already comparison between the actual metal that we can touch versus the digital. Now, then they draw this comparison with a very powerful headline that says, Fidelity executive says crypto markets forming setup identical to commodities boom of 1990s. Now, I want to bring up a very important point. Something that didn't happen in 1990s, but happened in 2021. And that is this. We have already gotten the full-fledged green light approval for Bitcoin futures ETF. Now, we have to keep thinking about ETF because it represents exchange-traded fund. And one of the mandate for pension funds, retirement funds, like the mega huge funds from BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, and so on, their investment mandate, they are able to pour money into ETF once a particular instrument has been accepted. So this is the big context. This didn't happen in the 1990s. 1990s is more like a gradual approval of each of the futures metals. And I want to kind of highlight to all of us, when we talk about commodities, what are we actually talking about right here? And these are all the commodities we are looking right over here. I want to give everyone a quick heads up. And let me just zoom in bigger and we can really kind of talk about commodities. We are looking at gold, silver, platinum, palladium, crude oil, heating oil, natural gas, gasoline, Brent crude, and corn, oat, and so on. These are what we call the real futures commodities. But in that regard, we have already been approved for Bitcoin futures ETF. So left one more really low-hanging fruit to go by, and that is the Bitcoin spot ETF. So Fidelity is absolutely right to spot this. And in fact, I mean, we are not really, they are not really pushing that hard for the Bitcoin spot ETF. But in this interview with Real Vision founder, that's Raoul Paul. Raoul Paul is from Goldman Sachs background. He's kind of moved 100% of his wealth into cryptocurrencies already. And that's the reason why he said this very important line, all right? Crypto markets are setting up the same way commodities did decades ago, with one very important exception. We have already been approved for Bitcoin futures ETF. Yes, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, Dr. Clemen, we always talk about adoption being one of the key driving force of Bitcoin price up, right? I mean, so it's not very complicated. If a lot of people are adopting Bitcoin, if billions of people are adopting Bitcoin, and there's limited number of Bitcoin, so definitely will drive the Bitcoin price up, but we don't know by how much. So a recent article by Pantera Capital CEO Don Moorhead, he says that this mass adoption by institution and retail will drive Bitcoin up by 10 times, 10x in just a few years. They are not talking about 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. They're just talking about 2025, which is only like 3 years later. So question to you is this: who is this Pantera Capital guy, and what is his basis on this statement?
Wow, this is a kind of a deja vu for me, because back on the 12th of May 2020, when we led our community of students to buy Bitcoin together with the teacher, that's me, we have only 1 or 2 data points. One of the data point is coming from Pantera CEO Dan Moorhead. He's really, really famous because he's the king of the ICO markets back in 2017, 2018, the real king. He made so much money during the 2 prime years, all right? And he gave a prediction: Bitcoin should hit $100,000, $115,000 to be exact by 2021 August. Now we kind of missed the target. Few reasons include, number 1, we have a new SEC boss. Very, very tough boss right now. Then number 2, we kind of almost get it right because we have the approval of Bitcoin futures ETF last year. And it's just natural for us to proceed to the Bitcoin spot ETF. So those elements kind of missed the 2021 target. Right now, he's raised the target to 10x by 2025. So a few things to think about 2025 before I dive into the article. Number 1, 2022 will be marked by the midterm election that's taking 8th of November this year. Add 2 more years to that, that will be 2024. 3rd of November will be the US presidential election. Now, my view is that I think he's not speaking out loud for Dan Moorhead. I feel that he's thinking about a change of government. This current administration is taking too long, sitting on it too long to approve the Bitcoin spot ETF. So he gave himself 1 more year after 2024. If there's a change of president, that will be January 2025 during the State of the Union address. That might bring us to point number 3. So if you put these 3 trigger events together, this year, 2024, we would know whether there will be a shift of the political master in 2022. This year, midterm election in 2022, we will know straight away whether there will be a shift of the US president in 2024, simply because of the midterm election. Midterm election is preparing the way for the presidential election in 2024. Now, he added 1 more year because I bet there is a thinking of a change of president, all right? So here we go. He thinks that Bitcoin can easily hit 400,000 in as little as 3 years, all right? And that's a latest interview on Bloomberg TV, and it's based on Econ 101 supply and demand. We have been talking about supply and demand for the longest time, Bitcoin being fixed supply, 21 million coins, all right? And the total population of the world closing in at 8 billion population at this moment, all right? And of course, let me read out to you, this is the thinking behind their thesis. Every 2 years, 10 times more people use cryptocurrency than they did in the past. And that's been going on for a decade. Every 2 years is 10 times more, 10x more. And every 2 years, the price of crypto has gone up 10x. And to my mind, it's that simple that within the 5 to 10 years range, almost everyone with a smartphone will use cryptocurrency. And if that's true, they are going to be at a much higher price. How much? 400,000 by 2025. That's the number that they are looking out for. And the context behind, the political context, I've also given you guys to think about 3 important dates. 2022 midterm election, 2024 presidential election, 2025, possibly we're going to have a new administration with a new president of the United States of America. Yes, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Dr. Clemen, just before we go to the last question for you, just one question here is that, you know, the current Bitcoin situation on exchange is getting lesser and lesser, right? So this is very transparent. You know, it's on blockchain, very transparent, and everybody is reporting this. Bitcoin balance on exchange hit a new low. Now it's really a new low of only 2.5 million Bitcoin. Question to you is, why do you think this is happening?
Wow, this is really fascinating data, because this is happening simply because everybody right now is on hodl mode, HODL. So let us remember this magical four-letter word, and I'm going to put it up right here. HODL will form the context of this article, right? So HODL is the short form representing hang on for dear life. All right. So it hits a low of 2.5 million. We want to know which exchange got hit the most. So here we go. We kind of scroll down right over here. Coinbase right now emerged as the biggest source of outflow of coins. The US-based crypto exchange saw net outflows totaling 31,130 Bitcoin worth 1.18 billion during the week. Now, what is Coinbase? Majority of them are American-based users, and majority of them are kind of operating in the regulated environment, because Coinbase is the first crypto exchange to be public listed on the New York Stock Exchange. This is really, really exciting. Now, the moment they move the coins out of the crypto exchange, it also means that they're putting into their co-wallets. Because for us spiking, we are tracking the movement of the coins between exchanges. Are they moving from Coinbase to Binance, or moving the coins from Coinbase to FTX or to Robinhood? No, it is straight outflow to the co-wallets, all right? There's little migration between exchanges. In fact, we wanted to put out data analytics on the movement of coins between exchanges. So this is a clear sign moving to co-wallets, and they are taking a stand. I want to hold a price. So what is the price we are talking about right here? So this is the current state of affairs for Bitcoin. Let me just zoom into the one day candle, and we start off from here. Over here, this was the all-time historical high, very easy to remember, $69,000 per coin. And we went into this, what we call the Red Sea era, defined by 30 to 40,000 range, and then we'll cut off from 40,000 and below, right? So this is the 30 to 40,000 range. And what we are really, really excited is that right now, you can see the candles are floating above and outside the box of the 40,000. This is important. Means we are out of the danger zone. If Bitcoin keeps floating inside here, there is a possibility you'll drop below 30,000. We don't want to see this number happening. Why? 30,000 is the most important moral test case number that's represented by Michael Saylor. His break-even price is 30,000. So let me put it out right here. This is 30,000 for your consideration. We do not want to see this number breaking up. And what we want to see is 40,000 and above. So we have a new situation right now. If it is trading at 40,000 and above, what are your thinking then? Because I will move this 40,000 right over here, okay? And clearly, you can see the candles are kind of moving outside the 40,000 range. Let me put this box back here again. It is navigating outside the red box, all right? 41,195. And what you want to look at, let me give you the clue right now. Very, very clearly, you're looking at the twin peaks. Twin peaks here and twin peaks there. And what is this twin peak? It is pointing to a very important, nice round number, and that is the 45,000. We are all waiting for the break above 45,000. Once this is broken, Here we go. It will go straight away to the moon. That is the reason why we are speaking to all of you 3 times a week about the key events. What are the key events that's driving it? Key events including Russia invasion into Ukraine, and overnight, Ukraine became the 2nd country in the world to make sure that Bitcoin is a legal tender. That is a key trigger event. Ukrainians are using Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, to support their war efforts. Now, you can see that right now. Number 2, what's the key trigger event? We are looking at a midterm election. We are looking at a presidential election, 2022, 2024. What's the key trigger event? We are looking at the price prediction by Dan Moorhead from Pantera Capital. He's expecting to break above more than 100,000 by 2025. So all this is what we are seeing right here. Every seed of the event is super important to us because you need to build the narrative leading up to the top above 100,000. So this is the part most of you don't understand, and I want to give you a heads up. Between Richard and myself, you know, we started off this YouTube series because back then, Bitcoin was at all-time low for this season at 28,000. And we say, well, we got to help the people. I think many people are suicidal back then. We call it the Red Sea #1. And we keep pounding and pounding on the data. Don't give up. Don't sell a loss. Hold your fort. Boom. We hit the 69,000 mark. We kind of get everybody out, Red Sea #1. And while we're deciding, should we continue the journey? You know, we say, why don't we set a benchmark? We will continue the video series until we hit Bitcoin 100,000. Boom! The Red Sea #2 happens right smack in our eye. Boom! And the Red Sea #2. But while we're in the Red Sea #2, we say, hold your fort. HODL, do not give up. And right now, we are above 40,000, and we are looking at the beautiful twin peaks right here. This beautiful twin peaks, 45,000, one hit break, we are up there for our target. So yes, Richard, this is absolutely important to us. And thank goodness, you know, 2 of us keep each other as a really, you see, 2 great partners coming together become great sparring partners. Sparring partners produce edge, sharpness on the edge, and that's how we build up the wisdom for our community. Yes, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, Dr. Clemen, last question for you is that we know that next month you are going to this amazing event in Miami featuring Michael Saylor and also the president of El Salvador, Bukele. Now, they are both going to be star in this Bitcoin 2022. They are the key lineup for this event. Question to you is just share with us why you want to go there. You know, it's very far away from Singapore, many hours, and also how do you expect this event to have an impact on the Bitcoin as a whole?
Yes, Richard. You know, I carry a big heart when I make plans to go for this trip. It's happening in Miami 6 to 9, but I'll be spending 12 days away from Singapore, to be exact. Now, the reason why I go to this event, there are 3 primary reasons. Number 1, the most important of all, I'm assisting a Bitcoin mining firm today to go there and identify the right partners for us. We are advising them which are the machines we should buy, which are the partners that we should forge, and most importantly, who are the key guys that we're going to help them open the gateway to enter into Asia. So much discussion has been talking about Bitcoin mining in the US and getting out from China into Russia, and then from Kazakhstan, people kind of give up hope, then move it to Texas. But everybody is not talking about Asia. We are the gateway to Asia. That's number 1. Number 2, this is the really the crux of the matter. In this event, they will be so exclusive to what we call the Bitcoin whales that they even created a whale pass. This whale pass is like crazy. So let me kind of give you everybody a heads up right here. The whale pass is the most expensive ticket to the event, because the whale pass, what it does is, many of the whales do not want to be seen in the public. So what they do is they kind of put all of us together in the same room. We can share ideas and network, but it's very stealth, very private. So how do you kind of filter people out by the price point of the ticket? And they also kind of, they have their entire organizing team interviewing us and say, why you want to get into Will Pass? What's your purpose? And they really take the time to find out. And then we know, whoa, they are damn serious about this Will Pass. And that is the time where we're going to get really grassroots feedback, what exactly is happening among the wills. Third, but not the least important, but also not the most important, is this. In the event, this event passes through, and more than 10,000 people are expected to show up at the event. You know what that means? 10,000 guys will go out, leave Miami, go back to the respective countries, and start preaching whatever they learn at the event. This is the time, typically in history, after the Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin will start to move. There's no scientific formula for this, cannot explain, but this has happened in tradition every year, year after year after year. That's why sponsors are paying big dollars. Do you know to be the top sponsor of this event is $1 million? That's like a monster. I've never seen an exhibition event that expensive. So that's the reason why we put all these three together. I want to come back here after the event together with Richard. I'll share with you what I learned at the Bitcoin conference. But more importantly, for those of you who are not just looking at Bitcoin, but looking at Bitcoin saving planet Earth, what is the future? About Bitcoin saving countries and the population within the countries itself. What does that represent? Why? We're going to have Katie Wood speaking. We're going to have Michael Saylor speaking. We're going to have President Bukele from El Salvador speaking. And he's going to make an important announcement on that day itself. So those were the three reasons I'll be there. And I'm so excited. Once I'm there, I hope to give you all as much as the live telecast as possible. Yes, Richard.
Thank you so much. There you have it for this Monday, the first day of the week. Bitcoin journey to 100,000. We do our best to research facts and data from the market and present to every one of you. With the facts and data, you can make informed decisions for your financial future. We remain bullish on Bitcoin. Secret to success is wake up early, work hard, and own Bitcoin. All the best for the rest of the week. God bless. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Clemen, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Richard.
We believe that investing in our education
has the highest leverage and is the greatest equalizer.
Regardless of background, everyone can have the same opportunities with education.
We believe in doing what is right, not what is easy.
We believe in anything that is worth doing, we do it with passion and excellence.
We believe that happiness is the key to success.
If you love what you're doing, you're already successful. And that both success and failure are temporary, worth sharing about and even celebrating.
That said, we believe we have had our fair share of both.
Yay!
We believe that when the market is tough, we can be tougher.
We believe the best product should win, not the best sales pitch.
We believe that winners are winners because they don't quit.
We believe that the biggest sin is to make learning boring.
We believe in making decisions and owning our results.
We believe in innovation to continually provide value to all around us.
We believe that together, everyone achieves more.
We believe that real leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders.
We believe that we can learn from our competitors.
We believe that women work harder, do better, and are more confident.
We believe it's okay to be proven wrong.
It's okay to change your mind.
And it's okay to cry when you're having a really rough day.
We believe in giving everyone the benefit of the doubt.
We believe in always saying please and thank you.
We believe that if dreaming is free, then we should dream big.
And then working hard to achieve it.
We believe that if we have knowledge, it's our duty to pass it down.
We believe that we shouldn't teach something we ourselves don't believe in.
We believe it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
We believe in saying sorry and meaning what we say.
We believe in being high-tech, means adding a human touch.
We believe that no one has all the answers.
Not even us.
But we go find out and we learn.
We believe that learning never ends, and once you stop learning,
you start dying.
We believe that one person
or one great idea
can change the world.
That's why we believe in helping you grow and succeed.
And with your help, we can change lives globally.
We believe.
We believe. We believe.
Thank you for your belief in us.